Hello and welcome to my brand new CATIA practice tutorial series. Today we'll be designing this sheet metal part using surfaces, and I will try to move a little bit faster so I don't bore you with the unnecessary details. Today we'll be focusing on part structure. It's really important for parametric design, creating standing flanges like these ones for stiffness, adding ribs and Birdbeaks, and the workflow to add all these features into the part. So let's get started. First, you start by creating a new part. Like I said, the part structure is very important. We have this geometrical sets here. This is our feature set, trim set, and final, where we'll join everything together. We switch over to the Generative Shape Design workbench, and then we start designing the part. First thing first, we need to work out the basic shape of the part. This is how you always should start. You can just create a sketch like this, have like a line. You can then extrude this line like that. It's always good to create this zero offset so you can change it later if you want. It's very easy to change without any hassle. Next, what you need to do is create another offset, which is gonna be like, let's say 25 millimeters. Notice I have this visualization wrong. Now what you want to do is create an intersect between this and, let's say, this one. And then you, sorry, and then you create this and you can create this wall. All right, at the end of this, you just simply fill them together like this, and you have your base surface, so to say. Uh, you can rename this to base surface, just so it's easier to understand. Now, what you need to do next is to, the part had like a black back flange here. What you need to do is to design that. You can just copy elements. You don't have to like create the command again. This is very useful for efficiency. Let's say somewhere around here. Create another intersect. This time you can intersect the second offset. It's always good to, when you click on the reference surface, it's always good to click the base surface, the first one that you have, not the latest one. It will work almost the same, but it's better to do it like this for because you might end up doing something else with this one, and it might end up shifting. But this, you always know it's more stable this way. And you have this large thing here. And now you have your back flange as well. Now we have to create that leg here. So that is, I don't call it whatever you want. I call it leg. Here you will have to create maybe an offset of this. It can be 0 at the moment. It depends on your design requirements. This can be actually, you can actually use the link to this surface if you want to tie it to that surface to be always on the same level as this one. But this way you can have it at different levels. Right now I'll keep it a 0 offset, and we can change that afterwards. What we need to do is to create this, maybe 95 millimeters, something like that. Values are not important at the moment. It doesn't like it because this is bigger than the surface. Problem that I don't like. It could have worked. So this is like 85. Let's see. Now that it's perfect, then you can go ahead and trim this surface a little bit. We fillet it, then we trim it. Why do we trim it? Well, we trim it because we don't want it to go all the way up to here. We just want a small leg. Okay, next feature, we will add maybe the flange. We'll call this standing flange, and we will start by doing a sketch here. Good, now we can extrude it, and after this we can always put fillets on it. Or we can do it directly in the sketch. It's all a matter of preferences. Okay, this will be the standing flange. What you want to do is actually stop the flange somewhere. Good, we create another plane. Usually a good idea to cut with planes because they're comprehensive. Now that we have all these shapes, we need to put them all together. So we have the shape from here, the shape from here. We will do this. And we basically join the two shapes together. Next, we need to maybe do this. And we have part of our standing flange. What's important here is that we actually put minimum here, so we don't take up more of the part surface than we have to. What we need to do now is create the other part of the flange, the part that goes up. We need to make sure we have the same surface here. What we could do is like do this and extract. It's not very nice, but it's really easy to do and effective. And then we create the other part of the flange like this. There's a problem here because I don't want it to go all the way up to there. So what I have to do is go back to this. Now we already have something to cut it with. It's this one. Good. Now we go to the final part and we do this. And you see that here there is a small issue because it's right in the middle. It doesn't know what to do. Obviously we will not be able to keep this condition like this, but we can cut it afterwards. And that's pretty much the whole part that we just drew. So that's pretty good looking. We just need to fillet these. This goes down. We put here minimum. That is totally fine. And it looks like this. Okay, we can start doing the trim now. Although it's not completely finished, we can start modeling the trim, just so we know a little bit better how the end product will look like. Here in the trim, we can add some geometrical sets as well. We can have like side 1 trim. We have the first side of the trim. This one we don't need trim because it's already trimmed to the side of the flange. Here we're gonna have like a small cutout like this. Millimeters should be fine. Here we're going to have like another circle. We need it to be like this, to just follow this and then go back up like that. And between this one and this one, like that. And then we can control this surface using this. So let's say 130. And then This needs to be vertical. And here we would need to project something onto this. I think we can use this one actually. No, projection doesn't work. It needs to be an intersect. And there you go. This can go like that. This can be coincident to this one. And this one, you can control it by, I don't know, like this. So that's 6 millimeters. It should, this radius is 6, then that is 6. You can have a 6.5 if you want to just be sure. This is like 10. Not very important. Like this. $85. That seems about right. We need to delete this. And there you go. This. Right, what you can do now is to make this like a different color. Like the features a different color, but it looks like it doesn't work. Maybe it works with the trim. Yeah, good. So the trim is gonna be blue. So you have a better idea of how it's gonna look. Good, now you'd add another geometrical set and call it side 2 trim. Okay, here I think the biggest issue was that we had our flanges flipped here. Always good to find these elements and use them. The ones, not the latest element you designed, just maybe have the latest element, the element that you use to position everything. So that's good because you can always then change that really easy. So that is good. We do this. We do this. We then see that these are construction lines and we don't want them to be. We can then delete this and this. I guess this is what we also need to do. No, we don't want it to be tangent here. We want this to be vertical, sorry, not vertical, Control Z. We want this to be horizontal. And we want this to have a radius here. And after this, we will want a certain distance. So I guess it's, let's say like about 85. And this is going to be like about 125. That's good. Now this can be joined or it can be unjoined. Depends on how you prefer it. This usually needs to be a certain distance from something. And again, this, let's say 1. I guess this needs to be vertical as well. And what's the problem with this one? That's not good. We don't want it to be like that. We want it to be a tangency. And there you go. Another satisfied trim. Oops, this needed to be here. Sorry. Forgot about that. This is actually blue. For some reason it's not showing up. Too bad. Now it is. Now we need to do the back trim and the flange trim. Let's start with the back trim because that's going to be really easy to do. It's just basically a line. Why we have it separate and not in the same sketch is because it's a very good practice to do so. to control it in different simple sketches. It's much easier. It's much easier to control it. Then you can change it. You can add something here. You don't end up modifying a huge sketch that breaks all your part. Okay, now the flange trim. This is a bit different because in order to trim the flanges, we need to have some offsets here. We can just copy this and we are going to offset it like that. But we are not going to be not going to be using the first extrude. We're going to use this one. So we link it like this to, let's say, minus 15 millimeters. Now you need to find the other one, minus 15 millimeters. That's good. You can see I'm copying elements. This is to help do it faster. You can create the elements again. It's not really important, but is this good? No, it's not. It needs to be the other way. There you go. Perfect. And we need another one here because we need to trim this flange somewhere around here as well. So actually the one that we created like this needs to be like the other way around. Okay, we do basically the same thing as with the surface. We create the trim, 6 millimeters. That's maybe it can be a little more around the corner. It doesn't have to be 6. It needs to be, where is the other one? This one. Whoops, not that. Not like that. Like this one should be fine. We can create another set where we call this final trim. And in the final trim, we will join all this trim that we have. We will just join it together. It's going to be really fun. Now we need to figure out how we're going to join this without breaking anything. If we do this, that's going to be relatively fine, I guess. This is what we want here. We're going to have a smaller radii. That is fine. We have one side. Then we can have the back side, I guess. Looks good. So far so good. We have this side. Now it starts to get a little tricky. Why does it not like this? The extrude is... I don't see the direction. It's supposed to be like this. Yeah, okay. That's totally fine. This one. And as you can see, this will basically cut this portion out, which we don't want. So that means we need to do something a bit different with this. So you noticed we have this plane over here. We're going to offset this plane 3 millimeters backwards, and we're going to cut this trimming for the top flange. We're going to cut this with this plane that we just created, and see how it's gonna look now. We move the plane back here. We go to the final trim to keep it just organized, and we do this, and it's supposed to be on the inside, I guess, and this is supposed to go down, and it gives us an error because it doesn't like something here. Why it doesn't like it? Oh, it's on the maximum. It's supposed to be minimum. Okay, that trim looks like really good. This is the final trim. Now we go to the final part, and then we trim the part with the final trim and see how it looks like. We then go ahead and hide everything else, and this is like perfect. One thing we noticed is that we have accidentally cut this leg off here, and we're gonna find out why in a minute. It is because we used this bottom surface for cutting the flange that we didn't need to do. We extended it too much. So in order to fix that, we go to where we design our surface. Let's see, flange trim, this one, no, this one, yeah, it's this one. And then we need to cut this with something over here. I guess it's fine if we cut it with this plane. So in order to do this in one move, to cut it and replace it, you can click this button here, which is insert mode. You select this, split it with this thing, and click OK. And now you can see it created this split here, and it also replaced this element here with this one. And if you hit Ctrl U, it'll not work. Why? I don't know. Because we have something weird going on. So we have this here, which works. We have this here, which works. We have this here, which doesn't work. There you go. It did not like that this was ending on a curved surface. So sometimes stuff like that happens. So now we have a different issue where this one doesn't like to be trimmed, because here it is. This is the issue actually, and the issue is that we have too large radius here. We switch this to 2. And now it works flawlessly. And we have our leg here. Okay, now what we need to do is to add the Birdbeaks and the features that we were missing. Let's start with this here. You notice that in our previous part, in this one, we had this huge dip here in this surface. So we need to add that. That's really simple to do. You just go back to where you designed this surface and try to find it. You can hide the final part. It's on base surface, I think, and it's this sweep here. Now, if you need to add complexity to your part, what you can do is just add another geometrical set, like that. Angled sweep. Now you go ahead and make a sketch here on this plane. This is about 40. Here I think we're missing the tangency, and here I think we're missing the horizontal constraint. You then this is already good. Put a constraint here, 40 mil. Perfect. Now what you need to do is this actually. I think you might have a problem because of this, but maybe we won't. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Let's just go with smooth here to just cut the excess surface away. Now what you need to do is right click on the sweep, replace it with this one, go to the final part and update it. And you see we have issues again. What a surprise. Why do we have the issues? Well, let's see. Figure out why we had the issues. It's because when we offsetted this surface for the trim, we offsetted the sweep. Now it offsets everything. So this needs actually to be still linked to the sweep and not the new surface that we, when it replaces a link, it replaces everything that has that link to it. Still not working. Still not working, but this time not working for a different reason. And the reason is that the trim now cuts through this, which is kind of bad. In order to fix that, we need to cut away some of the trim surface around the problem area. So obviously it's gonna be this area here. So we already have the sketch, we have the sweep, we go to the trim. I think it's at flange trim. We can offset this by, let's see, 4 millimeters should be enough. You blend these two surfaces together like that. Okay, you find the lower surface, the one that we used to cut the flange. It's this one, and then you click this one, the insert mode, and then you cut it. Split it with this and update everything. So now that the trim surface does not cut through this protrusion anymore, because we've made a hole in it, it works just fine. On to the next step, the Birdbeaks and the ribs. How do we design those? It's actually really simple to do. You create another geometrical set, call it Birdbeaks. You can start by using the elements that you already have. It's always good to do that. Let's say we create one point here, one plane. You then intersect the plane with some basic elements. So we have this one is the first one, and the other one it's going to be something from the back flange. This one, because this is where we want to create a Birdbeak. So you intersect these two with the plane, and you end up with two lines. Now what you need to do is create 2 points on these lines. Use the base point as the reference point. That's kind of too low. Let's go with 6. Again, like that. Create a line through the new points. Create another plane. Sketch. This should be like 6 millimeters diameter, maybe more, maybe 12. I don't know. Make sure you create a construction element to use this, like that. Two lines like that. the construction element, and then you put an angle like that. Delete the excess stuff. Now what you need to do is put a constraint like that. That looks good. You extrude this. That's one of the features. You can then translate the whole stuff here. And then you go back to the final part. You go to this one before the trim. Might be a little big, but it doesn't matter. Click on the insert mode again. This and this. 6 millimeters. Insert mode again. This and this. 6 millimeters. Boom. You have two of the Birdbeaks. What you can do is copy all this stuff here again and just edit it. It's much easier to do it this way. To create the Birdbeak on this side. Something like that. You then need to make all these elements visible. Like that. The plane is here. Sorry. Clear selection. You need to choose these again. Select the curves. Sketch looks wrong. You need to fix this. You can delete the translate because it's only one. In order to fix this, you need to change the sketch support. Change sketch support, and it should be here. You change it to position sketch. Origin type implicit, doesn't matter. Here, parallel to line, and you pick this line. I guess it looks like this. Yeah. Good. And you click OK. And magically, it's in the right place. This gets updated like that. I think this is going to be a problem because it's too long. It's going to protrude to the upper surface and you're going to have an issue with that. So you need to make this shorter. How short? Well, it needs to be big enough to intersect this surface, but not big enough to intersect this one. So that should be fine. Now I can hide this and look at the result. And it's almost done. You can see this is the problem that we created in the first step, where I said it's going to be fine. Well, I lied. It's not going to be fine. What we need to do is to get this extrude and make it smaller, like that. It's already translated to the other side. You hit update and it works. Okay, next thing to do is the rib. Ribs are easy to do. You start off with sketch. Make sure you have a large enough radius here. Maybe not 200, but you get the idea. You have this sketch, you extrude it up like that. You then need to pick yourself the base surface that you want to use it on. This could be the one that we actually call base surface, or it could be a different one. This should be good. You intersect this with this. You can actually do it on the latest surface that you have. It won't make a difference other than a good structure. How easy you want it to update it afterwards. Now you can have some lines going down. You need to do the ends now. The ends of the rib. So this is trim element 1, trim element 2. This is like 15 or less, doesn't matter. You design it however you want. After this, you pick here this option on the sweep, the circle one. Center and radius. Radius 6. See how it looks like. Maybe 5. Good. Here on the latest part, you will add this like that. Good. Now you have your rib, and the finishing touch is the hole. I'm assuming this is pretty easy to do. You should know how to do it, but I'm gonna teach you anyway. To design the slot, you have to create a sketch generally. Position this inside the sketch, and afterwards you can, like, there's a million ways to do it however you want your workflow to be. That's how you should do it. This is the split, and then afterwards you can have another split for the hole. Oops, wrong place. This should be in the final part. Cool, now you can go ahead and change the part design and have this with thickness, update, and there we go. That is how you design this sheet metal part. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and follow me for more practice videos and tutorials. Thank you.